Is it really cheaper to buy at auction? Not always. So join me now when I chat to one of my subscribers who travelled a fair distance down to Shoreham Vehicle Auctions to buy himself a Tesla Model Y. Let's see how he got on. Let's see his experience. And then after the interview, we'll have a quick look on the internet to see how much money he saved. So welcome back. This is a bit of a different one. I have lots of people commenting on my auction videos, and this is one of my subscribers, Craig. Thanks for joining me today, Craig.
No problem, Jonathan. It's always a pleasure.
And where is home for you?
Dumfries in Scotland. So
Dumfries and Galloway. We had a honeymoon in Dumfries and Galloway, actually. Near Wigtown, I seem to remember.
Oh, yeah. That's probably about 15 miles away from here.
Oh, okay. And we went to a distillery there that shut down. But anyway, I'm going off tangent. Wigtown. So just to put those in the picture, I've no idea what I'm on about, is I do auction videos every week, and I do a preamble on a Sunday about what's coming through for sale, electric vehicles down at Shoreham. And Shoreham, who I've known for years, Shoreham Vehicle Auctions. Now, long story short, Craig saw my preamble about a Tesla Model Y that was going through on the Thursday. So what I'm going to do is play the video now of the inspection or the overview I did of the Model Y before it went through the sale. Good morning and welcome to Sunday the 5th of October 2025. It's still blowing a hoolie up here with Storm Amy. So whilst the internet is still connected, let's have a quick look at what's going through this Thursday at Shoreham Vehicle Auctions. One of my subscribers said they were interested in this and they may well travel down to the auction this week from up north. It's a Model Y long range all-wheel drive, 72 plate, 43,000 miles in the white, but it's got the white interior. Best spec in my opinion. And it's got the proper wheels on for maximum efficiency as well. So, and people, they still say, white interior is going to show up all the dirt. It doesn't. And when you have got a bit of grubbiness on the seat, just when you're washing the car with some car shampoo, just get your microfiber cloth and just lightly rub it over, and you'll find that the dirt just comes straight off. They are so easy to clean, this fake leather, vegan leather seats. This is the Model Y with a parcel shelf. So the early ones didn't have a parcel shelf, and the ones with a parcel shelf had slightly, and I use the word cautiously, slightly revised suspension to make it a little bit comfier, and a few other minor changes as well. And I think this one has the parking sensors as well, which a lot of people actually like. I had a quick look at the dash yesterday. Over the last 116 miles, it's used 24.4 kilowatt hours of energy, which equates to 208 watt hours per mile. I'll turn that into English, or basically, how many 24s are in 116? It's 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour. So efficient is the Model Y. Both the cables, this was the time when they were still supplying both Type 2 and a granny cable. All the beauty shots there. Let's just have a look at some of the damages. So scuffs to the alloy wheels, you know what to do about that. Get yourself some trims. A tiny little wing offside front chip, 1 to 5. A little graze there to the bottom lip of the spoiler, which is plastic of course. Bonnet chips, chip to the windscreen, alloy wheel scuffs. That looks quite nasty, so that could be smart repaired, and it's just that corner. So there's a bit of a dent on the rear quarter, and it's broke the paint as well. Chips to the door, and then back to the cables. So Hankook tyres, Formula all round. What else are we looking at? V5 MOT is until August, yes, 2026. Nice to see it was MOT bang on time as well. 72 plate Model Y, that's nice. Prices, cap clean, 22,150. I reckon that could go a little bit more having the white interior, but it has got some damage, so I can see it making 22. Cap average 20, cap below 19. Now, hall bidders. Is this one of my subscribers bidding in the hall? Because he would have had a look round it. by all accounts, if he buys, he's going to jump in and drive back to Scotland today. Hope you have a safe travel, sir, if you bought one. £22,000. Cap clean is 22,150, and that is sold 22 in the hall. Wonder whether that was my subscriber. So that was the Model Y that Craig bought. So first things first, Craig, how's it going? How is the Model Y?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a lot. I used to have an ID3 before that,
okay.
So it's a lot stiffer ride. Put it that way. It's the suspension's a lot stiffer, but it's a heavier car. It holds the road so well because it's the all-wheel drive version.
Yes.
And I have put my foot down once or twice just to see what it was like for the acceleration, and it's pretty scary when you when you put your foot flat down.
Yeah.
But it's like a fairground ride.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's good. And so, what did you enjoy about buying from Shoreham? Because Shoreham is how many miles away from where you live in Dumfries?
Oh, I don't know how many miles away, but it was nearly 7-hour drive. So I basically finished on the Wednesday night at work in Dumfries, went and picked up a hire car, and me and my wife drove all the way down to Shoreham, and we stayed over at Travelodge, and got about 5 hours to kit before we had to get up at like 7, just because I wanted to get there at 8 o'clock when it first opened, just so I wasn't rushed, because I thought the auction was starting at around 9, and it turned out it was 11 it was starting, so we did have a bit more time, but even still it was good to get there, familiarise ourselves with the environment, and speaking to Christy, the lady at the reception, she was super helpful, very friendly, answered any questions or concerns that I had, and gave us some pretty good advice, and probably some advice that she shouldn't have done, but put it this way, I knew what sort of price range I was going to be bidding in. So.
Excellent. See, that's a great thing about Shoreham. They, unlike BCA and the other auction houses, they just treat you like a human being. So they probably shouldn't have told you what was on the sheet. That's basically what we say is what the reserve is that the vendor wants. So I used to go up and ask the auctioneers, like, what's on the sheet? And they'd quite slyly tell me, well, actually they want X amount. And so you knew what to aim for. So, that's really good. And it's quite a nice place to visit. It takes you back to the old days in the 80s and the 90s. So you've got a nice cafeteria type place, and you can have rolls and cups of tea and stuff, can't you?
Well, that's what we did. We when we got there and we'd done the deposit, because we put £1,000 deposit down because me and my wife were both looking at cars. So the plan was that the hire car we drove down there, we would leave it at Enterprise, who we hired it from, and drive 2 cars back. And then obviously if it went completely wrong, we'd have to rehire the car and come all the way back in it again. So we had a good look around at all the cars, all the ones that we had our eyes on, made notes, then went and sat in a cafe and discussed, like the good points and bad points about them all, and came up with a figure what we wanted to, maximum bids. Yeah. But like I say, I had my eye set on the white interior Model Y. But I was in a bit of a predicament, because one of the earlier cars that came out, it was the same spec and everything, but it just had black interior, but it had only done 9,000 miles, and my one had done 42. Sure, yeah. And I was like, do I bid on this one or not? So I thought what I'll do is, if it goes for a stupidly cheap price, then I'll go for it and just put some seat covers on it and make it look white or something. And but luckily it went for 23.5, which was too much for what I wanted to pay. But you sound like you're a well-seasoned car dealer, because that's the sort of thought process I used to go through. I'll buy that if that's that price, but I've really got my eye set on that, and you did exactly the right thing. Brilliant. So the bottom line is, because everyone's going to be wanting to know, what did you save, do you think, over buying from the dealer? It's a tricky one to answer, because obviously if you were living nearby, you'd literally rock up, bid, take it home with you. Whereas I had to hire a car, petrol, food to get, whilst we were getting down there, hotel costs. So all in all, we spent about 500. No, actually, it was a bit less than that because I thought I paid £950 for the auction fees, but it's actually 900. So it was about 470 quid, and that includes the road tax and includes the extra bit of insurance I had to pay to insure the car. So 22 and a half was what I paid for the car. And then, so basically, adding the costs on, it came to just under 23 and a half.
Yes.
People will probably think, oh, that's, you could probably have got that just the same sort of price from Facebook or on Clark's or Parker's or Auto Trade or whatever. But I did do my due diligence and checked up on the prices of the same car and spec and the mileage of what I was looking at. And they were coming in like 25 to 29 grand. Yeah. So there was a bit of a saving there. I did look at buying directly from Tesla, but they were in like 32, 34,000 pounds. But you do get the enhanced autopilot when you buy from them. But so I think I've got a good deal. I think I've saved myself a few £1,000s.
Brilliant.
And
So
the other thing I was going to say was I wanted to get it from showrooms because of the fact that it was an ex-lease car, and I know from having a lease car myself through work that anything that goes wrong with it, you'll take it back straight away, get it fixed because you don't have to pay for it. It's all through your salary sacrifice. Yeah. And the cars would be pretty well looked after. So I didn't want to take the risk of buying it privately or from a garage just in case you bought someone else's problems.
Yeah, you're dead right. And that's the way we think in the motor trade. Ex-lease vehicles, regardless of the fuel type, are a safer bet than, a part exchange that the granny's just taken down to the shops once a fortnight and done a handful of miles. That's going to be in worse shape than something that's sat on the motorway and been serviced and looked after. So there's lots to be said for buying ex-lease. Yeah. So the burning question is, would you do it all over again?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I would. The funny thing, well, hopefully this will last me a good few years before I have to do it again. But hopefully, I would do it again. But the funny thing is, after I'd committed to going to showroom, like I booked the room and the car and everything, I happened to see, I don't know, I think it was one of your videos, Aston Barclay one. And I thought, I wonder where they are. And they were like Midlands. And I thought, well, you probably have to be trained to do that. But I think with them, you can turn up as well, can't you?
I think you can leave a deposit. Yes, you can with Aston Barclay. You can't with most of the others. So BCA, Mannheim, and G3.
Yeah.
Aston Barclay are my next favourite after showroom. But showroom are just that little bit more personal touch.
They're
just great people to deal with, particularly Michael, the auctioneer, I know really well. So,
it was a good day out. It was fun. So the auctioneers were funny. But I think obviously when you're bidding against some of the dealers that are turning up, I think they probably get a bit hacked off with it because obviously they've got to make their margins, whereas Joe Public turns up and they've got a price that they're willing to pay. It sort of scuppers their plans a little bit.
But they'll be there another week, and it is what it is. And hats off to you, Craig. I'm glad you got a car that you enjoyed. I was going to ask, I know Tesla can be a bit funny. I've never actually done this, but have you managed to get the app working? Because you need proof that you own it, don't you?
Yeah. Funny you say that. I've only literally just got my V5 through the post today, so you couldn't do it until you had your V5 because you have to take pictures of the first, second, and third page, and your driver's license, and then you upload it. And it says it can take 3 to 5 days, and it literally took 3 hours, and it was on. So I'm all good to go now.
Oh yeah.
Because I took it to a Tesla supercharger thinking I could just plug it in and away I could go, because I already had the app on my phone for my old car.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't let me use the superchargers because the previous owner, who it was still logged under, hadn't paid a bill. So
right.
I had to just go to a normal charger.
So have you got that bill paid off? Has that been sorted out yet? That's still owing for superchargers?
It literally, as soon as I uploaded all my details,
Okay.
it's obviously, they've said, well, you're a new customer and it gets wiped. You don't have to pay it. So
Oh, that's brilliant.
yeah. Well, I hope I don't anyway. But
Yeah.
the app and the supercharger stuff's there, whereas it wasn't there before. It just said, unpaid bill.
So they will have a record of the previous owner. So yeah, they've probably got some way of getting them to cough up. That is fantastic.
Yeah, indeed.
Listen, Craig, thank you ever so much for coming on.
No problem.
And nice to actually speak to someone who's been down to shore. I mean, you went a hell of a
there was another tip that Christy gave me, actually, so your viewers might be interested. If you go down in the summertime, they often have promotions on where they slash the fees by like about 50%. So it all helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes I think the last one this summer was a Punch and Judy themed thing, and Michael was dressed up as Punch. And it was a right laugh, but they were saying, I think it was something to do with Nissan and Renault Motability, and it was like £99 auction fees on any value car. So that's often down to the vendor.
Yeah.
But Zenith do offerings as well, because it was a Zenith car you bought, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thanks, Craig. Thanks.
No problem.
And good to see you. Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
No problem. And you. Bye, Jonathan.
So let's look at the final invoice that Shurham gave Craig. So it was what we call a VAT qualifying, a VAT qualifying vehicle. So the hammer price was £22,000. And the invoice came through at the net amount was £18,333.33, which is 20% less, or 20% off £22,000. So the VAT element was £3,666.67. So if you're a VAT registered company and you use your electric vehicle for business purposes, you can reclaim that VAT element in your next VAT return, but you have to use it for business purposes. Now, always consult your accountant to make sure you're the right side of the law. So the fees were £750 plus VAT, which is £150. So the total for the fees was £900. And then there's a £15 fee to handle the V5. So the total hammer price on the hammer was £22,000. His actual invoice was £22,915. So I had a look on Auto Trader to find the same age, miles, colour, interior trim, Model Y, to see what sort of price they're fetching. And as Craig said, some are £24,000, £25,000, but I found one from a company called 𝐸 in Bishop Auckland. 72 plate Model Y, long range, 40,000 miles, white interior, and they've got it at £23,234, which is just £319 more than what Craig paid. Now, obviously, as he said in the interview, he had the cost of the car hire, fuel, hotel, food, etc. But he enjoyed the experience. Now, that's the whole point of auctions. Sometimes they're really, really cheap, and other times there's not much in it. But it also gives you an insight as to the fact that dealers aren't making massive margins. 𝐸 probably paid more or less the same, or perhaps a little bit less for their Tesla. Depends where they bought it from. But you can see we're not talking thousands and thousands of pounds of profit. Very, very slim margins, which is why a lot of used dealers are actually going out of business, because it's so hard to turn a profit compared to, say, 10 years ago. So it's not always cheaper to buy at auction. Do your homework first. As Craig said, he did his homework, and at the time, before he set off and set his heart on that Tesla Model Y, everything was at least £1,500, £2,000 more than he wanted to spend. So it's a constantly flexible market. Do your homework. And like you said, if you live, an hour, 2 hours drive away, then obviously you wouldn't have had the expense of car hire and hotels, etc. So there are savings to be made. Depends where the auction is, depends where you are, and it depends how much money you're going to save. So do your homework first. But thanks for Craig. Hope he enjoys his why. And nice insider experience from a customer point of view. Remember the public point of view about the positives and perhaps the negatives of buying at an auction.